Howdy folks again. DaveMan here. Rollman. Revolution. Now, I wanted to cover a couple other different topics that askew away from the politics for a little bit. Excuse me. But at the same time, are intertwined with the reality, vibration, energy, all of the things that I talk about on this channel, and the stuff that if you watch, like I said, if you go back and you watch the DaveMan story, you'll understand a little bit more about what it is that I'm talking about here. But the energy, vibration, and the things that I have started to notice as I've gotten older in life, and this is not uncommon, okay? You hear this happen all the time with older folks as they're getting towards the age in life where they realize things are starting to break down. And you reach that part of your life where it starts taking things away from you rather than giving them to you. Well, when you reach that phase, a lot of people in their life, religion, if religion wasn't a part of it, they find a way to get more connected to themselves, to religion, and maybe to something bigger than themselves. And there's a reason why this happens, because we are all, like I've said before, come into this place not knowing anything. We don't know where we came from. We don't know how we got here. We assume a ton. And we are told by the people that came before us, our parents, our teachers, our instructors, our religious professors, all of them, that this is the way things are, my friends. This is why this is what these old books tell us. This is what the teachings of this person and this person and this person tell us. Everything, my friends, has an explanation. And you have to take that on its face. You have to take what is presented to you on its face from the moment you enter this place. And a lot of us, we do. But a lot of us don't. And a lot of us kind of make ourselves and journey through this world in a way, hitting that brick wall, digging deep into this one, going deep into that. And I'll tell you, it is a slippery slope, and it will wreck you at times. It will send you down these rabbit holes, and then when you get to the end, you're like, oh man, there's so much of that going on. And maybe you're a person who has experienced it too. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people, as they age, they get closer to their spiritualness because, again, all of us had that little hintergedanke, that little thought in the back of our mind that something around this place doesn't make any sense. And I kind of need to get my affairs in order, get my mind in order if I have a chance to do things right on the opposite side. Because we all know something doesn't make sense about this place, right? Again, I keep repeating myself and I know it's annoying, but we don't recognize anything that's going on here. So what happens after this is just as anticipatory, exciting, all of those things, fearful, depending upon how you live. We don't know what we're walking into. But this is where I go back to it. See, the energy on this place, this is how I can prove to a lot of people that power exists, even in the small little 5 senses that we have here. Energy vibration can be seen. And to the keen eye, the person that stands in the back and watches and just looks at how human beings operate in real time in this thing we call the earth realm. I have seen, and I'm not saying this to be over the top or anything, but I have actually seen what happens when a group of people or even an individual with the pinpointed focus sets their sight on something. I have seen people change what everybody thought could not be fixed, could not be changed. I've witnessed things make 180 recoveries. Now, how does this kind of stuff happen? If this world and the owners and the educators and the academics that run this place, if they have the end all and end all and the answers to all the questions, then why is it that all of us are still walking around thinking, yeah, that doesn't explain anything, and this doesn't explain anything, and that doesn't explain anything. But yet, there I say again, if you delve outside the realm of what is understood truth, you're the quack, you're the kooky, you're the moron. Even if you ask questions, what are you, a heretic? What are you, blasphemous asshole? No, it's none of those things, is it? We're just asking questions. And I'm telling you, when you sit back, just step back sometimes. When you go to, let's say, the beach, or you go to a restaurant, just play a game with me. Sit in the restaurant, sit in your little booth, and look around the restaurant. You don't have to be an expert to see a family that's getting along, a family that's having problems, maybe a person at the table that's gazing someplace else. You can see a lot and pick up a lot of energy, vibration, if you just focus yours on other individuals in the room or the vicinity that you're around. I picked this up as a very young kid. And I'll tell you, you're the person that you feel is always staring at you. There's somebody staring at you and you feel that gaze. Have you ever had that feeling? Yeah, I was the guy in the corner doing the staring. Now granted, I'm not a creepy guy, and I'm not one of those people that try to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I am just fascinated by the human person and the human condition, and how easily the human person and the human condition can be so manipulated and will follow along with whatever trance they've accepted into their own life. Like I said, the way you see the world determines how you live your life. So that means the things that you have incorporated into your world, the things that you have adopted as truth in your life, will ultimately affect how this place reflects back to you, how you see it, and how it sees you. The Rollman Revolution, my podcast and my show, has all been dedicated to changing the way you see this realm, so in turn, this realm sees you in a different light, because it reflects what is projected. Now, I was telling you a little bit ago that power resides in every human conscious soul. Now, this planet is loaded with conscious beings. Now, some of them all are not in tune with who it is that they are. They're just bumbling around like a whole bunch of, that's fetus soul. A soul who just gets here, I would imagine, has no clue. But if you've been doing this several times, and if you've been through the wash cycle, I don't know how many times, but you start to see patterns a little bit more quickly. You pick up on stuff in the regular world that most other people aren't even paying attention to, could care less about it. Why? Because they're absorbed to the flashy things, the tangible things. Oh, I got this, and oh, look at these things that I have, all these material, wonderful things. This attachment is why so many gurus laugh at people, because this is any more real. None of this is real. All of this can be taken away at a moment's notice. The fact that anybody worships money or things instead of trying to figure out who it is they are, good luck to those people. Now, power. The fact that this has taken me 20-something plus years of reflection and thinking and looking at all of the ancient texts and reflecting on them. And I'm talking about not just the Bible, I'm talking about the Quran, the Upanishads, the sutras, you name it. Anything that had something to do with a connection to the divine, I was seeking it out from age 25 to age 35. And I'll tell you what, the comparisons in all of them are uncanny. It seems like the human condition, no matter where it is you are all in this plane, has had a similar experience or some kind of similar connection to the divine. And what I keep saying is, you know what the connection is, and you know what the similarity is? You, the human experience. That's the connection. That's the thing that's the same. Because it is my belief that all of us, every single solitary human, or conscious being, or conscious, focused, intended being, is God. All unique, all defining and interacting itself in its own way, but God nonetheless. And the power that resides within each God on this planet is unreal. But we have just not discovered how to pull the cap off the power. We believe that we're this little thing. Oh, little me. Little me. I can't do nothing. If I don't have this, or if I don't have that, or if I don't have my faith, if I don't have money, if I don't have things, I can't do it. I can't do anything. Let me give you an example to show you how real power works. Maybe you've had an experience like this. I noticed this one time. I had one of the greatest psychology teachers in high school. And many people may remember this guy, but his name was Rick Penberthy. I'll throw his name out there. But he was one of the best sociology and psychology teachers that I ever had, because he laid a foundation of something that would actually stay in the back of my mind. I'm one of those people that once I hear something that I find really interesting, I Rolodex it. I keep it and it never goes away. It just, some people call it a photographic memory. I don't call it that. I catalog important things that had huge impact, and the stuff that I think is nonsense, it just kind of goes away. But the professor that I had in my class did this social experiment one time. And it was an experiment in which the teacher wasn't in the classroom when it started, right? He walked in the classroom a few moments later looking really, disheveled and all sorts weirded up. Then a few moments later, one of the administrators for the high school that I was in came in the room, whispered something in his ear, and he kind of slammed something on the desk and then walked out the classroom again. Now, of course, everybody in the classroom is going, what's going on? And one of the kids, I guess, comes from the outside. They had to go to the bathroom and whatnot, and says, yeah, I heard that I think they're going to fire, the teacher, Mr. Penberthy. And everybody, because everybody in the school loved this teacher, you could see what was happening. And then one kid in the class started saying, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And then another kid in the class started saying, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And before you know it, the whole class was about ready to ransack and charge the principal's office in protest for this teacher. Now, nothing happened. There was no tangible things. There was no money. There was no things. It was just people in the room conveying words, conveying vibrational thought. And within those words, like I was telling you before, what words do, it's an incantation. When you say something out of your mouth with meaning and purpose, people don't think it has effect. Oh, it does. That's why if you sit around all day long calling yourself a schmuck and an idiot and a moron, well, you will become a schmuck, an idiot, and a moron, because this system reflects what is projected. So if you're projecting that, it will certainly give you what you are asking for. So in this room, I go back to the classroom again, in the high school classroom, everybody in there, and I was sitting here watching this all gone down, because I wasn't one of those people. I was a shy kid I told you about before, and I said you go back and you watch my DaveMan videos, you kind of get the whole insight. But I was sitting in the back of the classroom, taken in by all of this. I was talking to the friend next to me, and he was kind of getting more involved in it, but the class was coming up with strategical plans on what they were going to do, how they were going to handle it. One of the kids stood up in the room and was writing down stuff up on the board. And then, of course, the teacher came back in and says, all right, kids, you have to do this. Kyle, I need you to go ahead and go to chapter 13 and start, taking care of the first paragraphs, and then start answering the questions, write them up on the, give a basic assignment for the day to make it look like something was going on there. Then he leaves the room again, and this continued on. But the point of the whole exercise, because it was all fake, obviously, but the point of the whole exercise was to show how a crowd with the proper energy and focus, uniting under a common cause. See, everybody in that room knew who the teacher was and loved that teacher. So to have that teacher being thrown out for some oddball reason when everybody loved him, was one of the teachers everybody just wanted to be in the class for, you could see how all it would take is one person taking a common energy, which the whole room was on the same vibrational energy, and then someone in that room incantating something, using that energy towards a negative goal, maybe something to do something bad. That's how riots happen. Like January 6th, people talk about the January 6th. January 6th wasn't an insurrection. January 6th was a riot where you had key people on the ground, guys like, I'm trying to remember what that guy's name was, the old guy. We're gonna go to the Capitol! Ray Epps, I think his name was. Instigating. Agent provocateurs. If you have people on the ground instigating and telling, yeah, everybody, because you all think that they're on, everybody's energy that day was about making sure that this country is staying and doing the right thing and making sure that the elections were fair and all. But if you have somebody taking that energy that may be positive, trying to do a good thing, and then re-divert that energy by taking it and saying, we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. Good people will even do stupid and crazy things. A person will take a chair and throw it through a window or set something on fire that normally wouldn't, because the energy in that room or in that event at that moment, unites and makes everyone either focus. That's why you have to have good leadership and good focus and good drive, because if you don't, a bad leader can take a good group of people and just drive them right off the cliff. Energy exists in every human person, and what you project, the incantation from your mouth, that's real power. Real power. So what you say and how you say it, especially amongst people that have either got your back or are on your side, be very careful what you do when you use that power, because you can direct people in a way to do some very, very profound things, but you can also take those same people and drive them right off a cliff with you. So understanding what your power is, what you are projecting, what you are incantating into the world is very important. It's a thing that I try to teach anybody, any of the young people that I talk to, because you are an individual. And the individual that you're going to project to the world comes down to the control that you have within yourself and what you do with the things you say, how you say it, when you say it. Look, as a person who gets themselves in trouble a lot for opening my mouth and saying things out loud that I probably shouldn't, I understand how that works better than anyone. And I'm trying to get more people to understand the power you truly have deep down and within. You see, we live in a world today where not enough people who have real power are using it and uniting with other people to build that power, but then harness that power and energy towards a common good. You see, so many of us have given up on this place, and I truly get it, because this place does nothing but shit on you and find other ways to break things down. Look, the world is run by psychopaths. Everybody who is you would invite to your cocktail party is running this place. Now, we would say, yeah, that's because of this. Look, the only way you have all the resources, have all the land, have all the ownership of everything, control and enslave all the people is if you steal everything. Let's be honest. The way this world runs is that by people stealing and pirating, saying that's mine. This is my land. Well, who sold it to you is the question I have. What do you mean, who sold it to me? Well, if that's your land and you own it, right? That means somebody had to own it before you, right? So where did you get it from? Oh, no, I claimed it. Well, how can you claim something that you don't own or nobody owns? That's what's so funny. I find just humorous about this place and how confused human beings really are. You know, every one of the texts that I went through in my formation process alludes to the fact of not getting yourself attached to the things of this realm. But yet, that's exactly what this world teaches us to do. It teaches us that you must, in order to be successful, this umbrella of success, you must have achieved X amount of things, gone to the right schools, had the right this, had the right that. These words, and again, we go back to what words are. Now, words have intention, have meaning, have purpose, right? But some words, success, that means 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people. Now, there may be a generalization, but generalizations get us into trouble all the time. I can't generalize anything about who you are. There's nothing in this world that can generalize about a specific person. We can generalize about a family, a group of people. You can generalize about that. But you can't generalize about a single person, because every individual is different, unique. Power. When is the human being going to understand the power that they have? You are a God who forgot somehow what happened and how you got here. Nobody. And if you are a person who knows how you got here and why you got here and what you're doing here, and your mission and all this other stuff that they tell us, right? Your passion and your purpose here. What if you know that, please reach out to me. I want to know the phone number and who you called to find that information out. Because everyone on this planet comes in here not knowing how the fucking is they got here, and either have to accept the teachings that are presented to them or go on their own mission to try to discover it for themselves. And most of us that do hit the brick walls, stay in the agnostic realm. Why? Because the answers are not out here. They never have been. The greatest trick that this entire realm has pulled over everyone is it's got all of these senses designed to pull all of the information out from here. These senses are designed to connect you to this thing and this thing alone. That's why you don't hear what's going on someplace else in the astral realm. You don't hear what's going on maybe in another dimension. You don't hear any of that, right? You hear what's going on here. This flesh puppet meat suit that was created for you and me is tuned into the resonant frequency of this realm and this realm alone. Now, what I'm saying is that you are so powerful that if you truly understood really what you were before you got in here, before they memory wiped everybody and made us go through here trying to discover it for ourselves, well, you discovered the power. The real power lies within you and me. And it has great effect, which is why I fight in this realm every day. I don't fight for the realm. I don't fight to save the planet. I don't fight for any of that. What I fight for is the other gods, the other conscious beings who have no idea how they got here either, who are stumbling and bumbling through this realm themselves, dealing with problem after problem, suffering after suffering, trying to make sense of it all. The reason why I fight is so that the future of you or anything that is connected to you, if it should end up back in this place again, you might want to make it a better place. Because the way it's tracked now, it's tracked to create a world full of slavery, a world full of poverty, especially here in the US. If people don't start to pay attention and start to fight back now, there's going to be nothing to fight for. I don't know if the women in this country understand what happens to a country that becomes third world overnight. Look what happened to Germany just after World War I. When everything gets stripped apart and everything gets broken down, the men become the slave laborers and the women become prostitutes or used cannon fodder for whatever the new controllers put into place. Just to survive, to put food on the table, you'll have to sacrifice everything of you are. People don't understand the hells that could come if you don't project your power into the world and direct that focus towards something better. Because if you allow what the original snake in the garden allowed, which is why I have a problem with that, because if an omnipotent, all-knowing God who loved his creation and loved you and loved all of it, because he's all loving, right? Why would he allow a snake to get into the garden and taint any of it? Everything you create, like for instance, if I brought a child into this world, it's up to me to protect that child in every way I can. It's up to me to make sure that I do everything I can to ensure the safety and that nothing taints it until that child can protect itself. Adam and Eve, think of them as infants in a world they knew nothing about. God tells them, don't do this and don't do this and don't do this. But all of us, they didn't have another frame of reference, right? Then all of a sudden something else comes in and says, yeah, you can eat from this, you can do all that. Where was God when that was going on? Would he have his earphones in? Was he jamming out? And then what ends up happening? You see the fall and everything else goes downhill after that point. Now suffering. Really? Really? Then why did you let that happen to begin with? It's the same thing that I ask the people today. Well, if the world's getting shittier and shittier and shittier, right? You see the managed decline in the world and the neighborhoods and the life that you have, and you're expecting a different result by doing nothing? Well, that's on you. If you want a better world, if you want a better life, then you must become the change you want to see. When we get the man right, we get the world right. When you want something, you focus your intention on it. When a group of people want something and believe in something, they focus their intention together and they harness that and they work towards it slowly at a time, chiseling it away. That's real power. And if you can get a group of people who are fluctuating at the same wavelength about the common thought, because we're all not going to agree on everything. That's just not how it is. You have different experiences, you have different talents, you have different motivations, we're not going to agree on everything. And I don't want to. That's what makes the spice of life so beautiful, is its variety, not its conformity. I don't want that, and nobody does. But you have to live in the real world. You have to live in reality. You have to live in a place where we all can kind of get along. And isn't the basics what we all do agree upon? Safety, security, to be able to just express yourself in a way that doesn't infringe on anybody else's rights and vice versa. To be able to navigate yourself through this life, be able to make a decent living and raise a family within your own structure, we all should be able to have that. And there's enough to go around in order for that to happen, but it's not going on. And why? Because they got everybody fighting amongst each other, while crazy people are just running the rest of it into the ground, slowly enslaving the rest of the population and any future generation to ever try to get out from underneath this. And we accept it. And I'm saying, why? The only way this happens and the only way this continues is if you continue to abdicate your power and give it away. I've just shown you an example in which power and influence, and you've experienced it. You've seen these things happen. You've seen enough in your life to know that there is this energy and this field that's going on around us, that when you can walk into a room, you can sometimes cut the tension with a knife. Do you think that happens by accident? We all have that experience. Is it all just happenstance? No. It's real power. It's the universe talking to us. We are all gods. We are all radiant energy. We are all radiating some unique vibration in the world. Your brain is an antenna. Everybody's brain has a wiring mechanism that is unique to you. And it connects to some ethereal thing outside of this, where your memory is kept. Everything is being recorded, everything is being stored and uploaded and downloaded. And yet everybody still wants to be connected to this. I have to have more of this and more of that. Give me more of these things and less of those things. I want it all. Let me ask you a question. When you're on your deathbed and you're at the end of it, I mean, as long as you're not a psychopath, but if you're on your deathbed and you know your days are numbered or whatever it is, do you ask your family to bring all of your possessions there? Do you tell them, hey, bring all my trophies and all my accomplishments and put it in the room, please, for me, because that's really what it is. This is all about. Give me all my things, my money, my cash, line it up. Just throw it on my hospital bed because this is what I am. Nobody does that, right? Unless you're crazy. Because the value's not in money. The value's not in anything this world has. Nothing here is more important than you, me, and the other lives that are going around this place trying to figure out what is going on. We have an obligation as other gods, as other something, part of this major collective, something, we're all part of the beginning. I said before, the Alpha and the Omega. It's a continuous loop. There is no beginning. There is no end. That is a concept, a word, a thought that we use because the idea of something just coming from nothing or something always being is a very hard concept to think about. But if things are, was, and always will be, The conscious you has always existed. Always existed. Has been here since the beginning of time, if that is such a thing. These are complicated, very hard, complicated concepts. But when you sit in the classroom of silence and you talk to people and other people, and that's why I've said before, the way that we build ourselves and get out of this mess is by communication. It's a constant flux of communication, incantations, words, ideas, motivations, energy in those words being projected to the people around us. When you get a good flow of conversation, a good ideas flowing, I will prove it to you that magic happens there. When you start talking about things that really matter in a group setting where other people are also throwing, you start to connect. You start to get on that same vibratory frequency, the same cycle as everybody else. It's not by accident that women get on the same cycle period-wise as other women. It's not by accident that if you're in a in a setting of people that are negative frickin' nillies all day long, and that's all they do is talk negative stuff. It's 5 people, and you join that group, you will become the 6th negative nilly if you stay in that group for any length of time, because that energy continues to pull down, and it doesn't require much. Negative energy requires 0 to mostly no output. It's a low vibratory energy for a reason, because it doesn't require much. But I can tell you what, it has the power to rip things down so much easier, because we know that to be true. How quickly is it easier to demolition a building than it is to build it? It's so much easier to do things that are what we call bad or negative. And it's so much harder, at least in this realm, to build things back up and make them better. You heard of the laws of entropy, that all systems are leading towards disorder? Now, who would make a world like that, where everything is slowly breaking down? I'm not talking about the natural processes of certain things that have to constantly go through a cycle in this realm, but I'm talking about the constant suffering. It's like you get one bullet in your life, or one stab wound. Here, take that, you son of a bitch, right? And then you go into your next day, and then some other thing hits you. And you keep going down another week later, and then something else hits you. The world is funny like that. I say funny, I'm saying that in a kind of negative connotation, but this realm doesn't care about you, doesn't care about how many times it wrecks you or throws you over, because like I said before, it's going to project whatever it is it's going to reflect whatever it is you project out. So energy and power that lives within you because of the God you are, you got to get control of that energy, young people. Future generations, if you want a world that you can say you built, and you built it just through the power of your mind, you got to get this right. Because we can change things. I have seen it, but it requires you, me, all of us, to know who it is we are, know it is what we truly know, and stop fighting amongst each other when we really don't know what we're talking about, when we really don't. We're fighting for what reason? I often listen to people who, like I said, I sit in the background sometimes, and I'll listen to conversations. I worked in grocery retail, so you hear people talking all the time, and you would be surprised at some of the boneheaded things people say that truly believe they're real. They believe what it is they're talking to their friend about, something that they either heard or some, I listened to a lady the other day talking about some vitamin thing and saying, oh yeah, if you take this. I was like, where did she read that through? In one of these new health magazines? Because that's a lot of bullshit in there. Okay, sensational. I mean, if you think about, if you got a health magazine and there are like 500 of them out there today, what are they gonna write about every single day? 10 good fruits that lower your cholesterol, 10 good things that make this. It's always a list of something and reasons why it's either good or bad for you, right? That's all those magazines are doing. It's just fluff, right? But people pick this stuff up and they really don't know what they're talking about, but they believe anything that they read is to be true. This is the kind of stuff that has caused our world to kind of just decay, because we're not focusing on reality. We're focusing on the reality that we want to believe is true.
why don't we do this? Why don't we start working from within? Stop focusing on what's out here. We have to fight to prevent this place from getting any worse. But the way we do that is by connecting with the people closest to us. And stop listening to people that we don't even know. Like, I love it how people say, oh, that's my news media guy, or this is my news media guy. You don't even know these people. But yet you say, that's my guy, or that's my gal. Yet, somebody else in your family who truly loves you, is truly looking out for you. You give them the middle finger and tell them, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. What are you, a doctor? You're obviously not a doctor, because if you have to have those credentials on the wall, remember. You can't just read and be able to ascertain. You can't just read the same journals doctors do and realize how stupid some of them are by just projecting the medical industry nonsense. But no, you can look at studies. I can read just like anybody else can, and so can you. But I find it amusing sometimes that people within family will trust a person they don't even know over somebody who has their back every single day on every other situation. It says, look, I'm just looking out for you, but I think you need to take a look at this. Something's gone wrong here. We put faith in things that we shouldn't, number one, when we really should be putting faith in each other and start working on the relationships that are around. I mean, really, truly working on relationships to try to build ourselves and the communities around us up. See, it starts from within. And we've been focusing so much on out here. Just look at the world we have today. Wars everywhere. People constantly trying to screw other people over. For what? Tangible things in this ridiculous reality that you and I are not going to be in the next 25, 30 years, if you're my age. So what is it you're fighting for? What are you trying to keep? The only thing that is noble, in my opinion, in this realm, is that anybody else who's stuck in it, to try to leave it a little bit better for them than you received it. So that maybe their life or their imprisonment here won't be as awful. Because hell, if you reincarnate back into this place and the people now decide to do nothing, the sex slavery, this trafficking, the pedophilia, the crazy wars, the nonstop greed, it'll never end. This all stops when you make it stop. When you take your power back, refocus that power, and then find other like-minded people who also are trying to do this exact same thing, connect with them, and then start moving. Because in a world where you have greedy psychopaths, lying, manipulating, and there's no trust amongst those people. There's no truth amongst those people. And they will turn on each other just as quickly as they've turned on you. But those who are vibrating for a common good, to help each other, to try to see the reality that we're living in and try to get us all, because like I said before, we're all in the same boat and we're all seasick, but yet everybody else wants to complain about how much more seasick they are than the other. And they want to fight about it when the goal is to just get off this damn crazy boat. And we can do it together by communicating. This all goes away when we start talking again. We start listening to each other. We really start believing in the power that we really have. I don't know how I know this, but it's just, I've seen it. I've experienced it, and this world tells me every single day. I see in every person a little spark. I can see it. I can see right through it. The presentation that they give me is such a facade most of the time, but I notice where most souls are in this place, and some of them are not ready, but to escape it. Some people want to continue to live in this wonderful. They love it here. This place wasn't meant to be permanent. Wasn't ever meant to be the hell that it is or has become. And the fight that I have every single day is to make it better than I received it. I'm not trying to save it. I'm not trying to stop it. I'm not trying to explode. I'm trying to help the other souls that are stuck here and to try to give them maybe something better than I got. Because that is the good nature of the God that I am, and that is the good nature of the God that most people are in this world, because we all come into this place knowing nothing, but it just seems like there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And I think most of us deep down know it, but there are so many that choose to take the easy, low energy vibratorial path and sell themselves out for tangible things in this place that are not even real. Power lies within you. Understand that. Fight for it. Focus on it. Meditate on it. Think about the things that are happening around you. Think about the energy that is all around you. Once you start to see this kind of stuff, your world starts to elevate in a way. You start to see people in a different way. And more things start to make sense. But it all starts with you. It always has. And I think that is by far the biggest quagmire for most. They think, like a little old me, what can I do? What can you do? You can build new worlds. You can build new realms. You can build new structures, new things, new humans, new everything. You can do whatever it is you want. That's how powerful you are. Stop thinking small. Stop letting this world tell you who you are. It doesn't know who you are. Only you do. So why don't you try to discover that? Why don't you try to remember everything you are? And when you get that right, the world projects what it is you become. So get this right, it will reflect, and the world will reflect back to you what it is you're searching. I love you, my friends. I hope this helped. You are something special. And if I don't do anything in this world, I'm going to get every person that I ever meet to recognize that fact. You are something so powerful and so special, and you need to know that. And if nobody's ever told you that, I'm telling you that right now. You are powerful, so powerful, and so important. But you have to discover what it is. And that's your journey. That's personal. I am here 24/7 to try to help anyone find that path. I am not a guru. I don't want to be anybody's guru. I am just telling you what my life has kind of shown me. And I'm trying to do that in the most intricate way, and it's embedded in everything. So like I've told people before, when you hear me talking about politics on many of my other videos, you got to understand the thought process behind what it is I'm trying to do. I'm literally trying to help every little person on this planet who thinks they're not powerful to recognize the power they have and recognize the God particle within them, because you are something special. I hope to see you all on the next one. Please like, subscribe, share. It helps the channel more than you ever know. And I appreciate everybody taking the time and spending the time with me, because I think these are important conversations that need to be had. And if anyone's going to change this world, it starts with you. I hope to see you out there, my friends. Take care. Talk to you soon.